Hello, welcome to the Love and Laugh Joycast. This is John Peters. Glad to be with you here tonight. We're going to bring on our co-host, comedian Cha. Say hello, Cha.
Hello,
Good to see you. You're looking gorgeous and radiant in your
and so
kitchen.
do you.
All right, is this a real kitchen or is that a virtual screen kitchen?
It's if it's clean, it's my kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are you excited about our guest star cast comedian
Yes.
guy?
Yes.
This is Tom. Tom Padavano. Welcome, Tom, to the
Thank you. Thank you, John.
It's good to have you.
Good to be had.
Yes, I feel like it's springtime with the blue flowers behind you. That's nice.
Yeah. Obviously, that's not virtual.
Well, it's good to be with you all tonight. We need some good laughs. Actually, I had a good day today. It's Veterans Day, and I know, Cha, you're a veteran, so thank you for your service. And all our veterans, anybody that's listening, our other co-host, Carl, also known as Ed the Mad, is a veteran. He's out gallivanting around the globe somewhere tonight. So maybe he'll watch live and call in. Not sure, but Ed, thank you for your service. And speaking of service, we are comedians, and we are here to serve up a full platter of laughter and joy. So, Tom, tell us a little bit about your comedy journey. First of all, what made you decide to become a comedian? Why?
Well, I would joke around a lot. And then in New York, there was a class at a place called the New School for Social Research on comedy writing. So I took that class, and from there I found out about certain comedians that would buy jokes. So I slowly started to find out what kind of jokes to send them, and I started to be a selling joke writer. Then in 1984, I think it was a class, comedy writing and performing. I said, this will force me to get on stage because I was too nervous to do it anyhow, and that's how I got into the performing.
All right. And how long ago was that?
The class was in 1979, and the performance workshop was 1984.
Oh my goodness! And you
I started when I was 3.
Comedy. Wow. You started when you were 3. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
That is.
That's beautiful. Because I didn't get into this till about almost 9 years ago. So I'm a newbie. I'm like a not even a teenager in comedy. I'm just like a preschooler. That's why my jokes are so immature. They're like 3rd grade humor.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey, some of the places that you've done comedy, good times, bad times, people that you've worked with.
Well, I think one of the more fun things was I went to a ventriloquist convention in Kentucky, and sometimes a person might want me to write jokes for them or something, but when they would talk to me through the ventriloquist dummy. So it would be like, hey, can you write jokes for me? Ha, ha, ha. It's kind of weird. I'm actually talking to the dummy then, And so who's the dummy here? I'm not talking to the guy. And I actually lectured on comedy at the Las Vegas International Ventriloquist Convention, where they paid me to, talk about comedy and joke writing. And that was quite unusual. There was a big picture of all of us holding up the dummies, the ones that are ventriloquists, by a pool. And that was pretty amazing.
Oh, that is hilarious. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say hi to 2 visitors. We have my good friend Chip Faust. Chip is a great jokester. He's got jokes for everything, and he's goes to my church. He's been on this show. Chip, happy Veterans Day to you. I know you were in the Navy, and thank you for your service. Also, we have Ed the Med is watching from Tallahassee. Ed, thank you for joining this show. Where are you when we really need you, Ed? You're out gallivanting around Tallahassee. So the joke's on you. All right, that's from Chip. All right, so tell us a little bit more. You did the ventriloquist convention. What other places have you done comedy?
I did on a talent show on a cruise ship. I've performed in churches, one in Tom's River. That was nice. Private parties, which is, you never know what you're going to have there. It's some interesting stories there. And places that are beyond description. I don't even know how to describe some of the places I perform, but very interesting.
Okay. All right. So that leads me to two main questions what is your worst gig, or as we like to call them in Christian comedy, your heck gig, and what is your best gig, your heaven gig? Heck gig, heaven gig. And I just made that stuff up. That's good.
I think the worst gig was at a birthday party, but they didn't say that they were going to have a comedian. So, and they were having dance music on. So they all of a sudden they shut the music. They go, oh, this guy's going to do comedy. And the cord from the speaker maybe went out about 5 feet.
Okay.
So I started doing comedy. Everybody's talking. Nobody's listening. Finally, after maybe about 45 seconds, they put the music on, and the host started dancing with me. I mean, I got paid and everything, but it was like the people were there to dance and to whatever, and they were in no mood to listen to comedy. They did not stop talking while I was on.
You got
I've
paid.
never had to dance with the host, but that's a new one.
Yeah,
Did you cash the check?
I did very quickly too. I wanted to make sure. I said, "Whoa, hey."
As well you should have. All right, tell us about your heaven gig.
I think it was pretty early in my career. A girl I was dating at the time got me a gig for $10. First time I ever got paid. I remember my first joke didn't do well, but everything else went really well, and it was a big crowd, and it was my first time doing something like that, getting a little money and getting something that was more than an open mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's exciting getting paid, because that makes you a professional. And
Yes.
like Johnny might. Chip has said, Chip, by the way, is an awesome musician. He says, I performed at a funeral. People were dying to get out of there. Okay. Spot up. Boom. All right. Yeah. John, what about you? You want to share your heaven gig and your heck gig?
Oh my. Well, first of all, before I go on stage, I pray, and I pray for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I do, I say, dear Lord, you made me funny, so it's a gift. And if I mess up, it's your fault.
Okay.
So those are the things that I understand. The one time I was at this, it wasn't a nursing home, it was when there's assisted living, but it doesn't matter. And then my video guy, I get on stage, as soon as I do, he says, Cha, what? Cha, what? I can't off this video. Hurry up, they don't have long. Meaning to live. And he didn't whisper that though. So that's a little tough to follow that act. So, but it's not that difficult for me, because I raised children that didn't listen to me. I raised husbands that didn't listen to me. So it was okay. So I got out there and finished or started to do what I had to do.
Boy, that's a good point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've had those. I did one of my worst gigs was I got literally pulled off the stage by the lady that was running it. She said, you have offended everybody in this room. Put the musicians on. So now afterwards, people came up and said, you didn't offend us. It was funny. We enjoyed it. And then at the end, the lady said, well, you only offended 50% of the people. I didn't take the $50. I felt bad. So that was rough. That was rough.
That's not bad. Yeah. And then one bomb, it was, well, let's just say a bomb. And then my response was, okay, I'm a comedian, but I never did say I was funny. So
There
that
you
was my
go.
response to that.
Oh, doctor, I never did say you're going to live after this process. Awesome.
But my favorite is before veterans or active duty, what have you,
Okay.
and they're my favorite.
All right.
I don't know if they feel sorry for me or
Whatever. We don't care. We don't care
no,
if they feel so.
no. And prison ministries are pretty great.
Okay.
They're fun to
I've,
do.
I've never done prison.
You haven't?
Not yet. No.
Yeah, they're good. They're
What
good.
Yeah,
about
I'd like to try that sometime.
Was it
It is good. Now the only thing with prison ministries, you can't take anything in. You can't take your purse. So John, don't take your purse in. And you can't take anything in. You can't video. And don't wear orange or khaki. This time it's okay because I feel like I'm not going to clash, so I don't want to
Oh,
clash.
that's
So I'll wear
funny.
something different.
All right.
Mhm.
This just in from Chip. I clean toilets. I was a commodian.
The commode.
All right. There we go.
It's too funny.
That's Chip. Yeah. So, Tom, we got you here, and you've been writing since 1970, whenever. To help us, how do we become better comedy writers? I mean, what are some of the techniques that you use or tools that you use?
Well, just draw from your life, I would say. Things that irritate you, things that you think that would relate to the audience, that they might have these same type of issues and all. Because let's face it, when we do comedy, it's usually we don't talk about the things that are going well. We talk about things that aren't going well in our life and all. So it's a way to kind of have a platform to talk about these little things that not going well and just putting kind of a humorous twist on it. And sometimes just the truth of it will get people laughing.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Do you carry a notebook with you?
I have an app on my phone, which is called Comedy Companion. And when I think of a joke, I might put it there, or I always have my notebook with me pretty much. There's also an app on my phone where I could record stuff, just verbally record. So always have pen and paper. It's funny, I carry two pens, a regular pen and an erasable pen. I use the erasable pen to write down my jokes, my material. And then if I see, it's too wordy, I just erase it out. This way it's better than a pencil because it's more bold, but you could erase the stuff.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, somebody turned me on to that erasable pen, and when I'm writing out my jokes, that's what I use.
Okay. Wow. Now, do you have like Seinfeld, a calendar that you red X the days you write, or what's your strategy?
I started to do that, and then I forget to. But it is a nice system, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
For people that really want to be consistent, just write the thing. Now, I don't write on Sunday. It's the Sabbath, so I would skip that day, church and all that. But I mean, otherwise, just make that mark because you don't want to lose that momentum. You want to make sure, I didn't write, it's Friday. I want to keep the momentum of marking each day in the calendar, except maybe, for me, a Sunday, maybe for others, a Saturday, whatever.
Okay. All right. Chow, what about you? What's your techniques for writing comedy? What do you do? What's your strategy?
I send checks in. Yeah, I send checks in to comedians. It's exactly what Tom was saying. It's you take from your own experience and the rottenness of it, and bingo. And I was just thinking about that the other day, Tom. I was like a writer's block because I was going off to something else that wasn't familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do have a wide variety of lifespans, I guess as you get older, you've experienced the military, you experience being married a couple times, you experience all different types of things, bad things, and you can make fun of yourself because you got a humble spirit and you rather do it before anyone else does and get paid for it. And stupidity is really great you could be real stupid, like with your writing and everything else, and you get paid to be stupid. I love that.
Mhm.
And so that really works. So what I do is I type. I could just type like the first part, and then the second part just comes naturally because my life it just naturally is the pits. So it works.
Wow. I have to write this down. Stupidity
Yeah.
is really great
Yeah, it is. It is.
from Cha.
John.
I will go to my grave remembering that comment if I never ever associate anything else with you.
No, I got it right. I got to do an Ed Slam. Okay, I got that
Okay.
idea from Ed.
Did you really? Okay.
It's-
All right. Now here's a question. Do you guys find that a certain time of the day is better for writing as opposed to another? Or you can write anytime.
I can write pretty much any time. I should get into the habit more of the morning. Like there's this book I recently bought, 5,000 Questions All About Me, I think it's called. And just skimming through there, it'll give me ideas like questions to ask myself, to personalize the humor. So, or sometimes I'll bring that with me, that book, and my notebook, and write in there. Sometimes an idea will come to you and just out of the blue without trying, you just got to record it. But it's good if you could do it in the morning because in a way you get it over with, or at least you have that,
Uh-huh.
if you get in the habit of doing that.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a good idea. I know I went through a phase where I went back through my life and re-examined the stories of my life to do. But here's something interesting I discovered about myself. I don't like doing comedy about like past stories of my life. I've done a few things, but for some reason that doesn't really click with me. But the things that happen now, I get really excited about, and I'll do comedy about that. Like something my grandson said to me the other day. He said, "Grandpa, I loved the bathroom in my old house so much that when I die, I want to take it to heaven."
You want to take a
That's
walk?
a statement by my grandson.
I can. Okay.
He said, "I love the bathroom in my old house so much that when I die, I want to take it to heaven."
I'll take it to heaven.
I thought, okay, so the punchline I came up with is, well, I'm glad that he's going to find his eternal rest room.
Room.
I mean, that excites me because that was right there. It was a setup that this guy just laid on my head. It's outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those things excite me. So I listen and I watch. Even this show, we're talking. I'm writing things down. I want to research some of the things you're suggesting. I'm very intrigued about a comedy companion app. That sounds like fun.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
So, go ahead, Sean.
yeah, Tom, I want to talk about blue comedy and see if this is something you thought about. I mean, I've seen not much of it, but what I've seen is that the F word and all those things into it. Is there a reason for that per se? I mean, there's got to be a strategy in there because, like, when you do clean comedy, we don't use the F word. We don't do shock. We do intelligence. I mean, we have to do the timing. We have to do, left, right. I mean, we got to do all those things, and it takes time. It takes much more to memorize, much more of the intelligence in that. If you do shock, if you do blue comedy, and which means raunchiness, let's just say you forget your line. Then you can throw out F this, F that, okay, and make everyone laugh. It gives you some time. You could do something raunchy, and then you can eat up time. Because am I going somewhere with that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not my style to do.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you might have heard of Michael Jr. and he says he doesn't have like two different acts, one for a club, one for a church. He wants to have everything like church ready. And I try to think of that. I go, well, maybe I could go a little off in this direction. I try not to do that because then maybe I'll get in the habit of doing that. And then I don't want to get in the habit of doing that type of material.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you make it clear that you do clean comedy and you do it well. And I don't think we realize how much more difficult it is to do it, and how I just want to hand it to you that you stick to your, I can't say guns because.
Okay. But you're right. It is more difficult because it's easy to throw out those words and go with certain type of subjects and all. Like when I hear they describe a comic, oh, that person's edgy. I go, edgy to use that kind of stuff. I think I don't know if the word edgy is trying to be totally clean in your material. It is tougher.
Yeah, it is. But so much more rewarding. I mean,
yes.
Our
when you
friend
look
Chip
at it,
says, our friend Chip says, Chad, don't go Andrew Dice Clay on us. God bless you. Certainly are not going to go there, Chip. Thank you for the, for the guidance. Yeah, it definitely is harder to stay clean. I know when you first start, some of the things you do are so juvenile, and you go for the easy laugh, and you know, I think that's part of the process. You got to fail. You know, they say you're going to really be lousy till 5 or 10 years down the line. I think that for me, that was true. You know, it was about the 5th or 6th year, and even just the past year, that I started to figure some things out. So there was a lot of audiences that had to suffer through a lot of garbage, which I called comedy. You know, so
Yeah.
so God bless the patient audiences that put up with us.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that they go on stage and immediately they're good. I think there's natural gifting, but I also think there's a work ethic.
Oh yeah.
Are you willing to put the work in? It's like anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us, as we're winding up here, tell us what your future plans are. What do you have on the docket? You survived COVID okay? Things picking up a little bit?
Me or Cha?
You, Tom. You're our guest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, things are picking up insofar as more live things. Like I said, I have something on Saturday, then the following Saturday, then I'm doing a show two shows in Manhattan back to back on a Thursday and Friday. And I still do Zoom. I have a Zoom show. This is with a bunch of people from a library in Massachusetts, but they've been a very good audience for me. So I always look, and they have like a different topic. Like this one is, what are you thankful for? Now you don't have to do that, but I like kind of the challenge. They give us a topic, and then I'll try to do jokes, which I have a couple on being thankful. Okay. So things will pick up now. Of course, with the winter, sometimes you got winter storms coming and all that. So hopefully it won't be too snowy or winter, but at least we have Zoom still to kind of keep us occupied, because that's not totally going away.
Yeah. Right. And then you've done cruises. I mean, that's exciting, isn't it?
Well, there was this one cruise line called the Regal Empress, where it would be one of those cruises. They'd leave from New York, just go out to sea and come back 2 days later. The great thing about that one is they had a talent show, and the audiences were great. I really missed that. But talking about the dirty materials, interesting. Like Carnival Cruise banned people in the talent show from doing comedy because so many, even though they said they would work clean, would get up there and work dirty. Yeah. So they heard it for everybody else, know. Yeah. So that would.
Good. And John, plug for Naz.
Yes, yes. Go
Get the
ahead.
doohickey in there?
I'm going to put up his Facebook.
Yeah, and I just want to say that Live with Naz is Facebook, and it's an hour of laughter and it's comfort and comedy where laymen can be funny. And there are some professional comedians on, and it's 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and of course it's from the left coast. And do you have it up there, Comedian Nazareth, right?
Yeah.
And I do some writing there. It's a wonderful, wonderful gig.
Beautiful.
Comedian Nazareth is wonderful. He doesn't have to, and he brings us all together like a family. And there are funny, non-comedians there. It just gets you going. We've been doing this since the coronavirus for over a year now.
Wow.
And Lav's been there for every day, pretty much, every night. And I think it's like 362. So we pray at the end, and
That's beautiful.
so drop in. You just come in and just say, you type, and just say, your first name, where you're from. I'm from my mother, but that's an old one.
Yeah.
And, and state. And then if you want to join, you can. If not, just sit back and just, it's funny.
Write some chat jokes or punchlines, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Tom, as we're closing here, we like to give the guests an opportunity to share a little bit about their faith. You mentioned about not writing on Sunday as the Sabbath. Tell us a little bit about Jesus in your life and how you can laugh in difficult times.
Well, I went to a sermon by Jimmy Swaggart in Madison Square Garden in the mid '80s, and stepped forward, and I started going to church, and I'm go every Sunday unless God forbid something happens. And as far as laughing, when it's problems, sometimes there's a time to laugh, a time to mourn. But always remember, there's always going to be goodness coming eventually. Sometimes you got to, and we're supposed to be joyful. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit to be joyful.
Right.
And if you could spread joy, if you have that ability to do that in a godly manner, I think it's something we should do.
Right. That's right. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Tom. I really enjoyed this. I'd love to spend about 2 hours picking your brain about writing. I hope the Lord brings us together sometime. We can do a gig together, or you're in this area, I'm up in there in Jersey. All three of us, and Ed, maybe we'll get together sometime.
Yeah.
That would be great. That would really be great, yes.
Good time. End up at Waffle House. Write stupid Waffle House jokes, because that's what we need more of those, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, Cha, again, thank you for being a great co-host. Ed the Med, we say a virtual high five to you, and looking forward to having you back. Tom, I hope we can have you back sometime.
I'd like that. Thank you very much.
All
Thanks,
right.
Tom.
All right.
Okay.
God bless y'all. We'll see you.
God bless. Night.
Bye-bye.